Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy is coming to Washington on Friday. President Trump confirms his administration and the Ukrainian government have reached a tentative agreement to share Ukraine's rare earth minerals in what could be a pivotal step towards the end of Russia's war in Ukraine. National correspondent Atra El-Nashar has the latest from Washington.
Weeks of tense negotiations between Washington and Kyiv ending in a deal that could bring Ukraine a step closer to peace. Ukraine's cabinet is expected to recommend the ratification of an agreement to jointly develop the country's valuable rare earth minerals with the United States, as the Financial Times was the first to report. Here was Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent Sunday.
The bigger interest that the U.S. has in the future of Ukrainian economy doing well, the more security it creates for the Ukrainian people, and the higher the return for the U.S. taxpayer.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy rejected the White House's initial offer, in which the U.S. would have been entitled to $500 billion worth of Ukraine's natural resources, a value almost 3 times what the U.S. has contributed to Ukraine's war effort.
I'm not signing something that will have to be repaid by generations and generations of the Ukrainians.
Critics said the Trump administration was taking advantage of a vulnerable ally.
I would rather see long-term peace with a partner in Europe than a short-term extraction contract to make a few bucks.
According to multiple outlets, Ukraine has secured more favorable terms. As for what Ukraine gets in return, Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister and Justice Minister, who's been front and center in these negotiations, tells the Financial Times the minerals agreement is only part of the picture. We have heard multiple times from the U.S. administration that it's part of a bigger picture. The White House also preparing for a visit from UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, who just announced the United Kingdom will increase its defense spending to 3% of GDP by 2034. Now, President Trump recently called for NATO members to spend 5% of GDP on defense. In Washington, I'm Atra El-Nashar.